Hey everybody. I'm looking at my studio inside YouTube and it says I'm live and it says I have an excellent. Oh, hey everybody. Welcome to FabFit Friday. I started talking a minute ago, but the screen was black. It said I was live and then it just perked up and started counting down again. I'm sorry about that. Welcome. Still no progress on cleaning my studio. I am so sorry. I have a bunch of extra things added to my calendar, including bringing my daughter back and forth to physical therapy after her ACL surgery. And I had a really cruddy cold for the past week, which I am feeling better today. So yay. So I'm really hoping next week I can get this cleaning organization of my studio wrapped up so I can show you all the things that I had started, and some of them got messed up again, so I have to do some re-cleaning. But I was trying to think of something that I could do today since I really didn't have anything prepared. And as luck would have it, one of my daughter Abby's roommates needed a button put on his pants. So I'm going to show you how to do that. Plus, I found something kind of cool in the front pocket of these pants. So I'm going to show you that, and you may find it in an upcoming new pants pattern. I might include this because I think it's kind of cool, especially if you're used to wearing or using your pockets. Like, I'm not a pocket girl. I don't put things in my pockets because I have enough padding already. But if you use your pockets, I have something very exciting to show you inside these American Eagle pants in a second. Let me just stop and say hi to Diane and Sally. Welcome, ladies. I just want to start by telling everybody that I have only 2 spots left in the Efficient Workflow for Bodice Fitting Zoom class that's starting next Saturday. Not this Saturday, but next Saturday. It's going to be 3 Saturdays in a row, 1 o'clock to 5 o'clock. I made it a very generous class time, so we could really take our time and learn how to fit a bodice or a shirt using my Efficient Workflow for Bodice Fitting process. So again, there's just 2 spots left in that class. And also, if anybody missed it, I am doing a second pants fitting class in person in Manchester, Connecticut on the first weekend in August, 1st, 2nd, and 3rd. I will put the links to those in the description after I get off. Also, you can find them at jsterndesigns.com. I'll just go ahead and put that in the chat in case anyone's interested in joining me for these classes. jsterndesigns.com is my website. You can find them in the upcoming workshop section. Let me stop and say hi to Andrea. Hi, Andrea. Happy Friday. Cindy says, good afternoon. Good afternoon, Cindy. And Jeanette says, hi, first time viewing a live from Arizona. Welcome, Jeanette. I'm so happy to have you. All right, so I was dropping my daughter off from her physical therapy appointment today, and her roommate asked me if I could put a new button on his pants, which I'm so happy to do for him. But I also want to give a shout out to her other roommate. She brought down a shirt that she had actually hand sewed to fix it, and she did a beautiful job. So I gave her gold snaps. I actually offered to fix it for her, and she goes, oh, I didn't do it right. And I looked at it, and it was so well done with a needle and thread. So super excited for her. She told me her grandmother taught her, and I thought that was such a sweet thing, you know, that her grandmother taught her how to mend things. So I thought that was super nice. All right, so Lorna is saying, good morning, Jennifer, from here in Lower South Island, New Zealand. Love checking in with you, your live videos each Saturday morning. Glad you are well. Oh, thank you. Oh, it's Saturday morning in New Zealand already. That is so cool. Thank you for joining me. All right, so I have a fun thing to show you first. I'm going to switch my view to, oh, well, obviously we need to see what we're doing here. So let me switch my camera around. So what I have in front of me right here, before I get into the pants. This is a pile of buttons that were in my mom's stash, and I just want to show you how cute this is. She saved every button from every garment that she purchased throughout the years, I'm guessing. So we have Coldwater Creek, we have Talbot's, we have J. Jill, Banana Republic. She saved the yarn from a sweater. Oh, hi, Bertina. Welcome from Germany. Yay, welcome, welcome. So I highly recommend, if you guys are buying a ready-to-wear garment, check and see if there are extra buttons included, because they can come in handy if you're in a situation like I'm in, because the button I have to put on the pant, excuse me, the buttons I have to put on the pants that I'm going to do, the button is lost. So, hey, Diane, welcome. So I dumped out this tin of buttons. I have another one right here in case I can't find something I need. So we're going to look in there in a minute. But first, let me bring this up. All right, so these are the pants that I'm going to be working on today. And the first thing is, I did have the perfect color match to sew the button on. So I'm all set with that. I'll thread that in my machine in a minute. And I just want to show you here. Let's turn these right side out for a second. Hey, Joy, welcome. All right, so let me just show you the outside of this first. Okay, so these are American Eagle pants, and the buttonhole is right here. And what I did was I looked in all the pockets, first of all, to see if there was any extra buttons, because sometimes they'll sew them in weird places. I did not find an extra button, but I do see what the original button must have looked like, a slightly bigger version of this button. So it's basically a brown button. And for a hot second, I thought, ooh, maybe I could use this button, just take it off of there and put it on the front, on the front fly. But because what I did was I checked, let me see if I can show you here. I checked the sizing of these two buttonholes. So if I put them right next to each other, this is the buttonhole for the pants, and this is the buttonhole in the front closure. And you can see they're very similar in size, but really we need a bigger button. So I'm not going to do that. Hey, Joy. Hey, Leah. Welcome, welcome, everybody. So I'm not going to do that. I did not find a button. So I'm going to find a button. But what I want to show you here is there's some interesting construction things. So I'm going to turn them back inside out so I can show you something that I'm super excited about. And like I said, I may actually add this to a pants pattern that I'm actually working on a new pants pattern very slowly in the background. And I may actually add this. So in ready-to-wear pants, many times the pocket bags themselves are a very thin cotton. This cotton is so lightweight. It almost feels like a thread-worn sheet, like something super, like a cotton batiste, something ultra fine, much thinner than quilting cotton. And the reason why I'm telling you that is because what they did here was, over on this side, what I want you to notice, here is the pocket bag, okay? But look you can see the stitching of a pocket inside the pocket. So if we look inside the pocket, I just thought this was very clever. Let me see if I can pull it out and show you. I don't know how much of it we're going to be able to see because it is attached. But essentially, there is a pocket sewn into the inside of this pocket bag. So you can see the top of it right here, and you can see they're catching the outside top hem of the pocket, inside the pocket, on the fabric, the fashion facing here to probably anchor it. And then it's sewn here. It is coming apart a little bit, but I just think that's a really cool idea to put a pocket inside your pocket. So see, there's the bottom of the pocket, see? So that way, if you have something really special, like let's say you just have a single key or something you really can't lose, a single credit card, you can put it in your pocket, inside your pocket, to make it extra safe. So I thought that was a really cool detail in these pants. And again, to look at it from the outside of the pocket, it's basically just sewn in. It's caught into the bottom, and then it's just sewn here, and it's caught over here. You can see that it's sewn into the fabric, fashion fabric facing right there. So I thought that was extremely cool. So again, I might be adding that. So now what we're going to do is we are going to look for a button to put in or put on these pants. And I didn't have time to look for it in advance. I did find something really cute here inside the tin of buttons. Oh, hi, Phyllis. Welcome, welcome. Yes, I am feeling better. I still have a little bit of a cough, but I do feel much, much better. All right, so I must have been annoying to my mother at some point. This is a little Precious Moments gift tag, and it says, "Forgive me, I'm sorry." And then inside it says, "To Mother from Jennifer. I guess I'm a little devil sometimes." So I must have done something to annoy my mom when growing up, or when I was, I don't know how old I must have been when I had enough money to buy gifts for my mom. But basically, she put this in her button tin. So I'm going to put it back in the button tin. All right, and I'm going to quickly separate out some of these things that I know are not going to work. And then we're going to look for something like these pretty pink flower buttons. Obviously are not the thing. This button I had a little bit of hope for, but it's actually too big. So when you're looking for a button, Cindy's saying that's neat. I used fun wild fabrics for my pockets. I usually use pretty quilting cottons as well for my pockets. But I think if you're going to put a pocket inside a pocket like this, at least the extra pocket inside needs to be something ultra lightweight so it doesn't add bulk to the outside of your pants. Like I said, I'm guessing this double layer of cotton pocketing fabric is probably almost as heavyweight as a single layer of quilting cotton. It's extremely lightweight. All right, so here's the hole that I need to put the new button on. So basically what I'm doing is I'm just trying to fit it. So if I can't sneak it through the hole easily, like this button, I think I could force it. No, I can't even force it. So this button is too big. So all the buttons that are, that size or bigger, I can easily just get rid of here. A bunch of those, some metal ones. All right, this button looks really promising. It's a little plastic turquoise shell type button. I feel like that could be a good match for these pants, right? Let's see if that fits. So see, the whole goal here is you want the button to go in easily without stressing out the hole. This one goes in fairly easily. So this is probably a good contender. So I'm going to leave that right there. So now I know that some of these other buttons, that button's going to be too big. Yep. But I just want to make sure that's my best option since I'm doing this for somebody else. Oh, by the way, I do not do alterations or fix things for people, so don't tell anybody. This is just a random act of kindness for my daughter's roommate. All right, let me just see. I think this is the same button. All right, this button and this button, let's look at these two buttons. They're very similar in size. This one is slightly smaller. And when I try to put this button through, it goes through a little bit easier than this button. This button's also a little bit thicker. So if I look at them this way, I think you can see this button is a little bit thinner. You want to find one that's not going to stress out the pocket. So now I'm going to go with this as my best option. And I'm just going to look a little bit more, just making sure it's the best choice I have. Let's look in some of these Talbot. Oh, that's a white button. Let me see how that one fits. All right, so that one's harder to get through. So, and it's kind of white, so I'm not going to use that button. I think I'm going to go ahead and use this button. So let me just put the rest of these buttons. Oh, look at this cool one right here. That's a cool button. It's half metal. I can use that for something someday. Oh, Cindy's saying, is this a show start over? Are we looking for buttons? I'm looking for a button to put in this buttonhole to fix these pants. That's what I'm doing today during FabFit Friday, because I haven't had a chance to do much of anything else between not feeling well and so on and so forth. Oh, let's try this one. This is more of a muted one. That one goes through as well. So I think our choice is either this one or this one. But I almost think this one. You know, it's the worst thing if you have to use the bathroom and you run into the bathroom and you can't unbutton your pants. We don't want to have that kind of situation. We want them to be able to unbutton easily. I think I'm going to go with this button right here. Okay, and then I'm just going to put the rest of these buttons away. I think that's the best option. Let me just clear all these off. Oh, let's see what's in this bag right here. Let me just make sure this isn't a really good option. It looks like it's going to be too big, though. Oh, yeah, that's going to be too big. All right. Let me just shove all this stuff away, and then I'm just going to pop this button on. These are little buttons. All right, I found a button. Okay. Oh, Cindy, no worries. Okay. All right. I'm just going to put all these back in the tin in an effort to keep myself from getting messier versus, you know, I'm not making progress on cleaning, so I don't want to make a bigger mess either. All right, I put all these buttons away. And I've got my button I'm going to use. Now, here's something interesting about this button. I don't know if you can see it, but the middle, that light disc in the middle of that button right there, that's raised slightly. So when I go to sew this button onto the pants now, the raised section is going to make the edges of the button stand out away from the fabric a little bit, and that will make it easier also and make space for the fabric to button up underneath it. So I thought that was kind of a cool thing too, that this was probably a pants button because it's got that, it's almost like a built-in plastic shank. Can you see it? That was kind of cool. All right, and I also can see where the other button was sewn. There's a little bit of frayed fabric here. I'm guessing that's where the original button was. So let's turn these around so we can see. So if I zip this up, okay, you can see that we want this button to be right here. So when it's buttoned up, it lays nice and straight like that. Oh, Susie, I'm so sorry. You've been sick too. I'll tell you what. I don't know what it is that I had officially because I didn't go to the doctor, but the cough is really what got me. And actually last night I spent 45 minutes coughing before I could fall asleep. So I don't really know what's going on, although I know I'm getting better and I'm really hoping it doesn't come back. So I really am sending out vibrations and good wishes that nobody catches this little coffee cold that I had, because the coughing was the hardest part of this. All right, so we're going to put this button on, and just to double check, I'm going to take a pencil, or let me see. I'm going to take, I'm going to use this green pen. My granddaughter was in here coloring, and all my stuff is way over there across the room now. I'm just going to gently go over here, and I'm going to make a little dot. Okay, so we can see that little dot right there. That's where I want to get that button going. And I'm pretty sure I have showed this technique before. I'm going to take the button, and I'm going to put it so it's level with my hole. And you can see it's going to overlap onto the off of the fly piece a little bit here. That's another interesting thing about this construction. Notice the waistband stops here, and then the fly shield extends all the way to the top of the waistband. That's another cool construction technique that I might consider trying that in a pair of pants. I think that's such a cool thing to try. From the inside, you can see that it was sewn here, and then this was folded under and folded, and then what it allows you to do is kind of lap it over onto the fly shield. I think that's kind of a cool construction. Also, look at how this fabric is double-faced. So like this sort of plaid, almost like I don't know what kind of plaid that is, like a, whatever, I'm not sure the name of it, but that the whole pant, the inside of the pant is this red and black plaid, which is kind of cool. See, here's the hem. So these are very cool pants. All right. So let me just see here. Oh, Irene is saying, my mother always kept a button tin as well, but it was really big and quite full. There were 4 of us children, and we used to use the buttons as money when we played card games. Oh, I think that's so cool. Well, I will tell you that this charming little, look at how sweet that is. My mother has so many tins and so many decorative things that I have buttons all over the place. They're not all in one spot. So this is a fraction of the buttons I could probably find that my mother had. You know, and I have them in varieties of boxes. Maybe one day I'll bring a box up and we'll open it and you'll see what I mean. You'll find in that box, you'll find, I don't know, some seam rippers, some stuffing, some pieces of trim. It's like a treasure trove. Every box I open just has random things in it that are sewing related, and some of the things are not sewing related. So anyway, that's, you know, it's fun to look at stuff like that and keep everything. So, oh, Cindy says the wind must be messing up my feed. I will catch the rest of it on the replay. Thank you. Oh, sorry about that, Cindy. Thank you for checking in, though. I appreciate it. Let me know if you have any questions when you watch the replay. All right. So basically now what I'm going to do is I'm going to take this button. And like I said, I'm sure you've seen me do this before. I want to hold it in place right here. And I'm centering this dot that I made in the middle of the hole. So this little green dot, I'm going to center that, and I'm going to put the button like this. Whoops. And then I am going to use a piece of Scotch tape to hold it in place. Now see, what that's going to allow me to do is it's going to allow me to do everything else without worrying about it sliding around. The Scotch tape holds it in place for me, and then we can just simply peel it off. So I've got my button in place. Then I am going to drag my machine over, and I do need to put on the shank and the sew a button foot on. If you guys missed this the last time I did it, some sewing machines come with a foot that's designed to help you sew a button on. So let me show you what that looks like. Okay, so first I'm going to put the shank back on. Put this away like this. I'm going to go ahead and put the shank on. Okay. And I'm going to use my little mini stubby screwdriver to give that just a little half nudge to make it, you know, firm. And then this is what the sew a button on foot looks like. Now notice it's got some rubber. Let me just zoom in. Oh, that's as far as I can get in. All right, so it's got some rubber there. Oh, Irene says, I love your tape idea for anchoring a button. Great tip. Thank you. Oh, my pleasure. I use Scotch tape all the time to hold things down. If you're fussing with something and you need help holding it down, just put some Scotch tape on it. It's almost like, did anybody see that movie, My Big Fat Greek Wedding, where the dad squirts Windex on everything to fix it, to cure things? Well, I think Scotch tape is kind of like that similar thing where you can use it to fix so many different things or hold so many different things while you're repairing. Okay, so I'm gonna just thread this machine. Now it's really cool because when you use your sewing machine to sew on a button, the nicest thing about this is the inside is going to be nice and lined up, as well as the button being sewn on securely. So sometimes when you hand sew a button on, your stitches can get a little messy in the back if you're not careful. So this way, this is almost like instant gratification here to be able to sew it on by machine. So I've got this little foot here. Then what I'm going to do is I'm going to take the button and I'm going to stick it on under here. And the goal at this point is to stick it on and just hold it for a hot second. Then I have to switch to my buttonhole, my button stitching on built-in stitch. Now, if you don't have a built-in stitch, see how my feed dogs are right here? You can use your zigzag to sew on a button without a buttonhole or a button, sew a button on stitch. All a button stitch is a back tack that just zigzags back and forth and it doesn't go anywhere. If you don't have a built-in stitch to sew on your button, choose a regular zigzag and put your feed dogs down. So see, my feed dogs are up right now. I'm going to put those down. So can you see? I don't know if you can tell that I put them down, but they're down now. Then I'm going to put my button under here. Now, I can't just let it rip because if I'm not lined up, I'm going to break my needle. So I'm going to hand walk it into the first hole like this, and then I'm going to let it swing over to see if it hits the second hole, and it does. But when it hit that second hole, it was sort of grazing the side of the button. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to change the 3.5 millimeter width of this stitch to 4. And I'm going to swing it around again by hand to see if I like that better. And I do. So once I like it, I'm just going to press on the gas and it's going to do it all by itself. Watch. It also ties it off. See how cool that is? I'm going to use my scissors to cut it. Then I'm going to come forward and I'm going to do the second set of holes. And I just want to make sure I'm catching the holes without rubbing against the side of the, on the button. Okay, and you're going to see that I didn't have to fuss with it. Now, sometimes, I should have showed you this first. Sometimes if I'm working with a button that's got a flat back, I'll actually stick a pin underneath the foot like this. Okay, and I'll let it stitch over that, and that will give it a little wiggle room so the button is not jammed up against the fabric. But remember, this button had the little bump in the middle of the back of the button to raise it up a little bit, so I don't need to do that for this button. All right, now let's take it out and look at it. Okay. All right, so what I want to show you here is, let me just show you the inside. So you can see that that looks nice and neat. 2 little back tacks to sew that button on. Now I'm going to just take off the tape, and we've got a beautifully sewn on button. Oh, Leah says the tape is amazing. I love using my machine to sew on buttons. But yeah, it goes so much quicker. It's less fussy than sewing by hand. If I had to sew by hand, I would, but you know, if you don't have to, why? All right, let's button this up, and then I'm going to show you one other thing I'm going to fix on these pants that I noticed. All right, so let's button this up now. So you can see that button goes in nice and easy. It's all lined up. And I think that looks like a pretty good match for these pants. I'm super excited. Now there's one other thing I want to do here. And I was going to look for a scrap, and I don't think I have a scrap, so I'm just going to get myself a little piece of my cotton fuse interfacing. So let me just get a piece of that. Hold on one second. And I just need a tiny little piece of it. Hold on one second. Okay. All right, so this is my cotton fuse interfacing that I have on my website. I love this. This interfacing is really nice. It's cotton fabric that is fusible, and I'm going to show you what I'm going to do with this. First, I'm going to get my little, let's just use a couple of my, I'm just going to use a couple of my multi-mats, my Aliso multi-mats, which I love. Okay. Move this out of the way. All right, I'm going to take these pants, I'm going to turn them inside out again. Now, one of the downsides of using pocketing material that is so thin is that you can make a hole. So if I lay this like this and I turned this pocket over, you can see this is ripped right here. So there's a hole right here, and there's also a little start of a hole right here. Now, I can't really get in there and sew that shut, but what I can do is I'm going to take this and let's give it a quick press. Oops. Okay, just going to give this a quick press to flatten it out and get it into its position here. I'm going to squirt it with some water to give it some nice. Okay. Okay. All right, so I can see the hole now. And I can see this little hole right here. So here's what I'm going to do with this. I am going